What's up, YouTube? Long time Bama fan, Bama Crimson Tide, all day, every day, 24/7. Welcome to the channel, Back in Bama with Corey. Back in Bama with Corey. This channel is all about Bama football. Guys, I'm not going to waste any of your time, but the question was, after the blowout game in the second round of the CFP football playoff quarterfinals, Bama gets busted up and rolled by Indiana 38-3. And lots of questions has to be answered in the postseason for Alabama after getting thumped in the SEC championship game by Georgia, and then coming back and beating Oklahoma, and then losing again to Indiana in the quarterfinals. Guys, the question becomes, is Bama soft under Kalen Deboer? And is the Bama standard dead? RIP. A lot of people tend to believe it. Guys, I want to welcome you to the channel, Back in Bama with Corey, all about Bama football. Now, here's a clear breakdown shared by AI of why some critics, pundits, former players, and fans alike have described Alabama's football team under Kalen Deboer as soft. Now, mind you guys, Kalen Deboer has a record in 2 seasons of 20-8. Out of 28 games, he's won 20. Now, that's not a horrible record. He's at 71% wins as an Alabama coach with really respectable, in a sense, respectable regular season, including wins in the SEC over a 2-year period. If I'm not mistaken, he's 12-4. But guys, follow along with me. Now, one of the complaints says that lack of physical dominance in key games. One of the most common criticisms centers on how Alabama has been physically outmuscled. That's a fact. Guys on that O-line are like pudding pops, especially compared to the standards set under Nick Saban. We know he's not coming back, guys. This channel is about the current state of the Bama football program under Kalen Deboer. After major losses like Florida State and in the Rose Bowl versus Indiana, commentators argue that the Crimson Tide looked dominated in the trenches, particularly the offensive line. Former Alabama QB A.J. McCarron said the team was soft up front, especially in how linemen failed to sustain blocks or create a push. That's the problem. You can't run the ball if your O-line can't create opportunities and open up holes. If they're just a bunch of jumbled up guys, can't pick up anybody and open up the running lanes, you can't move the ball. And 23 yards for an Alabama team is deplorable. Downright deplorable. Horrible. Now, it says that CBS Sports noted that Alabama was physically inferior in those losses, describing the team as not the kind of hard-nosed squad the program typically feels. This kind of physical perception matters at Alabama, where for decades the expectation has been the Crimson Tide bully opponents at the point of attack, and that simply has not been happening under Kalen Deboer. Now, 2, it says poor performance in high-profile moments. Ain't that the truth? Critics point to specific games where Alabama did compete aggressively or show lapses in efforts and execution. Where's the motivation on the sideline? Who's going to get these players up? Coaches got to coach. Analysts like Paul Finebaum call the team soft, the coach soft, and the program soft after a blowout loss in the college football playoff, describing the performance as one of the most embarrassing he's seen from the Tide. In those games, spectators perceived a lack of urgency even when the team trailed, something the fan base and national media weren't accustomed to under Saban. Now, these narratives get amplified when expectations are national championship level. That's right. Alabama's supposed to be there, not sometimes, not anytime, all the time. Now, of course, we're trying to give this man a pass to be able to build a program up to where it needs to be. That is national prominence, not just mediocre and acceptable. 70% wins is all right, but that's not the Bama standard, which at this point in time looks like it's dead and gone. Now, sideline demeanor and leadership perception. Some observers have interpreted coaching styles as a reason the team doesn't exude toughness. Compared with Saban's fury and authoritarian sideline presence, Deboer's more calm, Player-first demeanor has been read by some as being too laid back. It is. You see zero energy on the sideline, whether a player does something great or whether a player fucks up. You just don't see it. Excuse my language. Critics argue that this demeanor might make players less mentally prepared for elite competition, a criticism rooted as much as in stylistic preference as performance. Now, however, many current players argue this is a misreading of his leadership style. Now, it also talks about team culture and effort narrative. A few media voices have speculated about culture shifts under Deboer. Some critics have pointed to perceived lack of energy on the sideline. I just said it. Or in player reactions, especially when the team was trailing. Who's going to get these guys up if the coaches don't do it? They can't get each other up. They need the coaches to do that. Now, others have said Alabama discipline, accountability, or competitive edge looks diminished relative to the past eras. We're in a new era of college football, but the one thing that we've seen that has fallen off into the abyss is Alabama's dominance when they hit the field. Nobody fears Alabama. Nobody fears our Crimson Tide, guys. Hit that subscribe button and leave a comment. You think that Alabama is soft? What's going on? Is it Deboer? Is it Grubb? Is it Womack? I mean, just like Nick Saban said in one of his commentaries when he was doing a presser some years back, that team ran through us like shit in a tin can. Indiana had their way with us. Now, there are subjective judgments that often reflect fan frustration as much as objective problems. Now, Alabama's high standard. Now, this is what we're going to talk about. Alabama's expectations are exceptionally high, consistent national title contenders under Saban, where any loss or uneven performance stokes intense scrutiny. Now, transitioning from the Saban era, moving from one of the greatest coaches ever to a new leader naturally leads to comparisons and impatience. Now, come on, guys. This is year 2. I think we're very patient, especially early in the tenure. Now, media and fan reactions, social media, talk shows, and podcasts can amplify narratives like softness. I'm going to say it. They look soft, and I agree. Okay, even if the reality on the field is more nuanced, and team leaders like QB Ty Simpson has pushed back on the notion that the team lacks grit. Well, we need to see it to believe it. Now, the bottom line, critics who called Deboer's Alabama soft are mainly reacting to 1, physical play in critical games where Alabama seemed overmatched. Florida State, season opener, ass is kicked. Anyway, I digress. 2, disappointing high-profile losses that looked unlike the traditional Alabama identity. There is no identity right now. Week to week, you just don't know what Alabama team, which Alabama team's going to show up. A one that's going to dominate or one that's going to get dominated. Now, however, many commentators and players dispute the narrative, pointing out that toughness isn't just about demeanor and that performance improvements are visible. Damn straight. There got to be some major changes, and I just don't see Kalen Deboer doing anything that's going to upset the apple cart, especially since his staff is made up of his good old friends. Now, that's just my opinion. You guys leave yours. Now, if you want, now think about this stuff here, guys. We can still stay behind this coach. I'm stepping back into the side because I want this team to get back to the Bama standard. Because, as I said before, is the Bama standard looks to be dead. Everything that was created for this man, to just come in and just take off from where it was left off. Now, you had players hit the transfer portal, just like you're going to have players get in the portal now from Alabama. But the bottom line is, year 3 is coming. And what are the expectations? We're not lowering our expectations as a fan base. All right? The haters are loving this right now. Anytime Alabama loses a game, the haters are right there cheering the loss on. But some way, somehow, whether it's Deboer, Grubb, and Womack and the collective O-line coach, what are you going to do? Get some players that want to dominate out the portal and get some coaches that can coach them. We need the dogs back in Alabama to make Alabama the better Alabama version of what we've been seeing as of late. Did they have wins? absolutely Alabama won games. But if you look at it, who did they really dominate? There were some close games, and there were some games that could have went the other way. But fortunately, they didn't. And Alabama finishes the season, well, with a respectable record, but a lackluster postseason. Once again, we're not going to make it to the promised land with a subpar, mediocre Alabama team. Guys, I want you to leave a comment. And thanks for tuning in to Back in Bama. Born and raised in the deep South and a Crimson Tide fan since birth. And I hope all Crimson Tide fans find their way to this channel, Back in Bama, all about Bama football with Corey. Appreciate you guys. Until the next time.